Okay, it's 3 o'clock. Hi, welcome everybody. We're about to kick off today with the last of our scheduled live streams for the White Rock Lake wildfire community recovery information. I'd like to start the meeting today by acknowledging that we're gathering today on the traditional and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan people. And I wanted to remind everybody that while there were a number of communities that were impacted by the wildfire, the information that we're providing today is intended for residents within the regional district of Central Okanagan boundaries. If you're outside of that area, close by, maybe an Okanagan Indian Band or the North Okanagan Regional District, please make sure that you contact your governments to get the most up-to-date information for your communities. As we have done previously, we've had a number of questions come in from residents about specific things that are happening in the community, so we'll address some of those questions. And also, we're going to today have the three other gentlemen that are on the call here answer some updates about things that are specifically happening in each of their areas of responsibility. So we've got Travis Kendall. Give us a wave, Travis. He's our engineering manager for the Regional District of Central Okanagan. We've got Steve Shell, who is our contractor that is working with us on recovery from the wildfire. And we have Todd Cashin down in the bottom corner there, that is our community services director. So right away, we're going to start with Todd. Sorry, and I should say, and I'm Jody Foster. I'm the communications director for the regional district as well. And I'm going to just go through by asking some questions to each of these fellows. So Todd, if you can maybe start with us, please, by telling us about the foreshore assessment that is happening right now. We had notified individual landowners who are on the foreshore, and they might like some more information about that as well.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jody. So this assessment, it's really an environmental and hazardous conditions assessment for a number of areas around Kaleni Beach and Estamont that saw a significant amount of fire impacts within the riparian areas, a few little creek corridors around some wetlands, and of course along the foreshore of Okanagan Lake. And so right now, over the next couple of weeks, actually started last week, this work, residents might notice one or two professionals, consultants who are walking around these areas out in the field, gathering information for us on the impacts, and they'll be providing that assessment final report to us in the next week or two. So they're documenting exactly what's happening out there, trying to identify any concerns, any geotechnical hazards that could pose a threat to, of course, our drinking water sources. And it's also a really great opportunity for us to take this information and streamline the approval process, both through our process here at the regional district, but also potentially with the provincial regulations as well, on behalf of property owners in that area, rather than requiring each one of these property owners to jump through individual hoops or do specific individual assessments per property.
Great, thank you. And have we had any kind of initial feedback on that? I know, as you're saying, the contractor's already out in the field today.
Yeah, that's right. They started late last week, and we've heard, got a couple of updates from them so far. There's definitely some impacts. There's some erosion and slope stability issues that were identified around the Attenborough Road area, for example. There's some impacts to that road. We know also that there is that area burned very hot. And so there's not a lot of vegetation left to hold soil in place. So we'll be monitoring that over the next weeks and months to make sure that we work with property owners and work with the province. For example, our consultant let us know that there's one group of property owners already out there that are doing a lot of really great work, doing some tree removal and doing some do some tree planting and some hydro seeding to help deal with that. We also know, don't want to step on Steve's toes here. He's going to be giving us a bit of an update from the province's perspective on the risk analysis that they're doing, but we also know the province is going to be helping us out with some seeding as well. So.
And the seeding there helps to keep the soil in place.
Yeah, when it burns that hot, there's not a lot left except rock and soil, and so going into winter here, I think we might get lucky here with some of the frost in the ground right now, but come spring, we definitely want to make sure that there's some germination happening to try to keep the soil in place as much as we can. So that's really what that consultant's doing. They're going to be reporting back to us, and any of the areas of concern that are identified, will definitely be identifying those private property owners and reaching out to them to have a good conversation about next steps.
Great, thanks. And with that, maybe we can talk a little bit also about the rebuilding process for residents that have lost homes. I know we have some stats on the number of permits that are happening. And can you just give residents a little bit more information about the process of how they go about getting those permits?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, permits continue to roll in. The demolition permits are in the 20s now, and building permit approvals we've got a few of those and a few more applications coming in the door as well. So it's slowly happening. And yeah, what we have heard is, sure, some of the builders and some of the developers out there understand the process and deal with it regularly. Not the average person doesn't. So we've been working with Steve and some of our communication staff to come up with a simplified process, and that once that information is put together, it's in a flow chart now, we'll be putting that up on the website here pretty quick.
And I think that should be within the next couple of days. And it really does just walk people through, this is step 1, do this is step 2, do this, and who you need to contact as part of the process.
Sure, yeah, if there's any confusion along the way, obviously give us a call. There's some information there. We'll post it on who to contact and when.
Perfect, thanks, Todd. Yeah. Okay, and moving on to Travis, and I know this is a hot topic for residents in the community. Travis, can you give us an update on the Killiney water system and where we're at with that?
Thank you. So it's been a long time coming, but the finish line is in sight. We've completed the final detailed sampling over a week ago, and those samples are in the laboratory. They're analyzing them. They're confirming if or if not any chemical concerns or compounds are in the water system, and we're hoping to get those results back later today. Our water operations team and I we're ready. We're queued up here with Interior Health. As soon as those results come in, we're going to start having those conversations about lifting that do not consume order and kind of getting back to business as usual. So the recovery is going to take a long time, but we're hopeful that at least we can get that water system back to normal.
Okay, that's great. And as soon as we do find that out, the information will come back out through the regional district to residents through our newsletter and through usually a news release that comes from the regional district as well to let residents know about the change in the status. And sort of by follow-up of that, Travis, can you also tell us about, as a reminder, we've talked about this before, but if people are concerned about their septic tanks, what they should do about that? This is a question that we've had come in again a few times over the last little while from residents.
Sure. If residents are concerned or they suspect that their septic system has been impacted by the wildfires, they should contact their regular certified on-site wastewater practitioner. That's somebody that can help them. They can inspect that septic system and confirm if it's in good working order or if repairs or replacements are required. If significant repairs or replacement are required, they may have to follow the new and existing requirements for those septic tanks. So definitely consult your regular certified on-site wastewater practitioner. They're the ones that can provide that next step for you based on what's occurring in your specific septic field or system.
Great. And that may be houses or properties where we lost a home, but it also could just be a property where there was significant damage on the property over top of where the septic is. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judy.
Okay. And now we're going to move on to Steve. So Steve, can you tell us about where we are at with helping residents with their insurance right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jody, and good afternoon, everyone. In regards to insurance, we've been working closely with the Canadian Red Cross, who's offering personalized insurance support for people impacted by this summer's fires. So they have hired a number of case management workers who are available to help understand those insurance policies. And they can be contacted directly by dialing 1-800-863-6582 to set up a private and confidential appointment. And that case management team is available to be utilized, and it's just a matter of a phone call to work it out and get it set up.
That's great. And so that's for insurance specifically.
Yeah,
can you also, oh, go ahead.
Just tag on to that too. And in addition, we've also been working closely with the Insurance Bureau of Canada, who's also providing information to assist those insurance policy holders. And they can be contacted at 1-844-227-5422. So that's another agency available to lean in on this one as well. So sorry to interrupt you, Jody.
Nope, that's perfect. Got to make sure we get all of that info out there. And then following up to that, so that's the insurance, and that's being done sort of outside of our organization. Can you tell us about the caseworkers that are working with the regional district and how they're helping residents and what they're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've hired 2 caseworkers who are also conducting individual and confidential capacity needs assessments for any of those residents who lost their structures. And their role is to identify any gaps in the existing programs that are available for those impacted residents to help them recover from this traumatic wildfire event. And, you know, it's been a very stressful time for a lot of folks, and these caseworkers are able to work closely with those individuals one-on-one to identify what some of those outstanding needs are. So just to give you some stats in terms of the numbers of impacted residents, we've been able to reach out and be successful with 47% of those who have either completed the assessment report or have said they have no additional resources required. So that's good news, and we continue to work to get in touch with those remaining people. Some of the themes that we've been hearing are around a whole bunch of different things, but I'll just kind of highlight the top ones that came to our attention. The first one, besides water, that Travis spoke to, is around endangered tree removal. So that's a little complicated. It depends on jurisdiction, whether it's Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, BC Hydro, TELUS, or within the regional district of the Central Okanagan. So we work with those as an individual case, and we develop strategies to address. The other one is just around funding, accommodation, and food. So again, working closely with Emergency Management BC and the Emergency Support Services, ESS, they have a program in place until November 30th, and I'll speak to some other supports later on. Another resource available is just around food hampers, and people have been asking, well, you know, is there any way we can get some relief for food we lost in the fire? And it's amazing what we've been hearing from the Central Okanagan Food Bank and the West Kelowna Food Bank that they actually have hampers available for any of those impacted fire people and families. Just amazing work there. Another theme that's been coming up is around cleanup. And it's a top of mind question for many folks. There's an amazing organization called the Christian Disaster Relief Program. They are able to gather volunteers to help you work through that piece. So again, good work there. In terms of debris and concrete disposal, again, that's top of mind for a lot of folks. What do? Scrap metal, and there are some scrap metal agencies in Vernon and Kelowna that can deal with that. The Glenmore landfill and West Side residential waste disposal is available for that. Another one, and Todd spoke about this, is around the landslide hazards. So we are working with post-wildfire natural hazard risk analysis as well. Todd spoke about the regional district foreshore assessment, and the Ministry of Forest Lands, Natural Resource Operations and Rural Development is managing the wildfire rehabilitation. Another theme we heard is just around the rebuilding planning steps, and Todd spoke to that. And Jody mentioned that we should have something posted on our website within a couple days. Tax assessments and water and garbage fees is top of mind for many folks. BC Assessment Authority has reached out to people with letters, and they're asking for information before next tax period. And the Regional District of Central Okanagan does have a fee adjustment in place for a number of those, and you can check our website for specifics. The insurance support, I spoke to that, and counseling. Another theme that came up, and that's around getting some counseling to support people working through this tragic event. So we do have a network through the BC Crisis Line, as well as the Family Resource Center Society. And then the last one is just around the mail forwarding fees. And again, it's something that Canada Post provided in August, but now we're getting into the winter months and we're just want to reconnect with them to see if they'll continue to provide that service. So that's something else we heard on top of some other issues, but we are, just so you know, we are tracking all of these and we are getting back to the individuals who are asking for that information. But Jody, if I can just put a plug in, please contact us at 250-469-6111 if you've not been contacted by our caseworkers, and set up an appointment with them because we want to hear from you. Like I said, we have 47% have been successful to get in touch with us. That still leaves over 50% we'd like to hear about. And we want to make sure everyone has at least had the opportunity to get the best information and then they can make their own decisions. So I just want to put that plug in for that, Jody.
And I think I would go one plug further and say, if you happen to be listening and you know your neighbors haven't been in touch with the regional district, let them know too, because it might be that we're just missing some of those people and they haven't had a chance to check in with us yet. So yeah, exactly. Steve, can you tell us too, it kind of got touched on a little bit by Todd there. There are a couple of other assessments that were happening in the area. One was the provincial risk assessment. Can you give us an update on that?
Sure. So we are working with the province, and they have conducted a provincial post-wildfire natural hazard risk analysis and snow overview assessment that was completed by geomorphologists. That work has been completed and is now posted on our website, rdco.com/recovery, if you want to see that report. I'll kind of give you the highlights of what it said. And that initial overview assessment reviewed over 83,000 hectare wildfire, the White Rock Lake wildfire, and they were for burn intensity. And with that burn intensity, those are indications or indicators for the presence of water repellent or hydrophobic soils that could cause landslides or floods from a rain event or spring runoff. So the report identified 3 watersheds of concern and within the regional district jurisdiction, the first one in the Clini Beach area, as well as 2 other watersheds that all came out into a high hazard and high risk where properties or structures could be impacted by sedimentation or overland flows. That report also recommended that we do a more detailed assessment. So to address that recommendation, the Ministry of Forest Lands, Natural Resource Operations and Rural Development has hired a consulting firm to conduct that detailed watershed review of those areas within the regional district, and they plan to have that completed by December. That review will give us the specifics in terms of what we need to address, similar to what Todd mentioned before, and we will make sure we communicate out to any potentially impacted residents in the area. In addition to that, the province is also leading the wildfire suppression rehabilitation effort. And with that effort, the Okanagan Shuswap Natural Resource District staff is currently working on that, and Todd mentioned that as well, by grass seeding those fire guards that were exposed by mineral soil to reduce erosion. So they're trying to be proactive in that piece, and just a notice to all individuals that live in this area, if you hear a helicopter flying around in your neighborhood, don't be alarmed and think you have another fire. That's not the case. It's a helicopter actually doing aerial grass seed on those fire guards. So don't be alarmed by that. Or if you see the odd vehicle traveling in those fire guards behind the community, again, they're conducting the grass seeding effort, trying to get as much grass seed on the ground in as many areas before the snow hits the area.
Great. Thanks. And this is a question that is a bit more to do with the support again, Steve, is that we understand there was a new announcement this week by the province and Red Cross for some additional supports. Can you give us some details about that?
Yeah, this is very good news, Ashley. And we've just received it. There was an announcement that went out Sunday night. It was posted through the channels, provincial channels, and the announcement spoke directly to the province, was able to team up with the Canadian Red Cross, and they announced this brand new interim housing assistance program. I mentioned before that the ESS supports go till September 30th. So this program will pick up starting in December of 2021, where the province will provide eligible household owners with financial assistance of up to $1,300 per month while they are supported in the transition to long-term housing. So that will go a long ways to help alleviate some of the rent challenges that folks are having. The Red Cross will be in contact with those eligible household homeowners who have been receiving short-term accommodation support through emergency social services. So if you do have a request for more information, again, feel free to reach out to them at 1-800-863-6582 or visit their website at www.redcross.ca. If you've not been contacted by them, you can reach out to those contacts as well.
I'm not sure if this is a Travis or a Steve question, but our Northwest Side Fire Department had sent out a news release last week just reminding people about carbon monoxide safety. And we wanted to address that specifically because we know there are a number of people that are going to be living temporarily on trailers on their property. So can one of the two of you provide a bit more information about that?
Sure, I can speak to that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, great. So yeah, in terms of carbon monoxide, it is a silent killer, and it's invisible, tasteless, and odorless, and can be very deadly. It's produced when fuels such as propane, gasoline, natural gas, heating oil, or wood don't burn completely in fuel burning appliances and devices. So what we're recommending and the communication we're providing is that you can prevent carbon monoxide buildup in your home by preventing and maintaining your fuel burning appliances and installing a CO detector. So this is especially important for those residents in the Northwest Side area who have just recently received permission from our board of directors to have an RV on your property for more than 2 years to recover and rebuild from this fire. So the Northwest Side Fire Department encourages you to please install a CO detector in your home or your recreation vehicle if you have a wood or gas-fired fireplace, an attached garage, or any other fuel-burning appliances, such as furnaces, hot water heaters, or dryers. And again, never use barbecues or portable fuel-burning heaters inside the home, RV, or garage, even if the doors are open. It could be a very tragic event if you did do that, and those the vapor, the CO, got into the area. So again, only use them outside and away from the doors, windows, and vents of the building and openings. So it's a very important safety reminder as we go into the winter months and people are looking for heating. So
good. Yep. And now this is a question that we had a couple of times in our inbox, in the recovery email inbox, is that there were people that lost the corner markers of their properties that showed their legal boundaries of their properties. And how do they go about getting those replaced?
Sure, I can speak to that one too, Jody. And I guess for those residents who may have lost those wooden property stakes, normally those white wooden property stakes on their property from the fire, there should still be steel pegs in the ground marking the legal lot locations. However, if those steel pegs are not there, it's incumbent upon yourself to hire a land surveyor to reestablish those lot locations, just so you know exactly where your lot is. So that's our recommendation, is that, you first of all, check to see if you can find those steel pegs. If unsuccessful, please reach out to a legal land surveyor and they'll be able to help you.
And I understand that those would be important to have in cases like replacing a fence or figuring out setbacks from your legal property line as you're rebuilding. So that's why those would be important to replace.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Todd mentioned, the different planning steps that are involved for rebuild. And when you develop your site plan, it will be critical that you have that boundary, your property boundary in place when you submit that site plan for your building permit. So yes, absolutely.
Okay. And I think, Steve, this is going to you again as well, as there was also an announcement this week from the province that they were doing some fuel management above West Shore Estates. Do you have information about that?
Right, yeah. So I guess going back to last year, the wildfire fuel management hazard reduction program that started was in place and right adjacent to West Shore Estates, the subdivision. So again, it's starting up and it's underway right now. And so this week and over the next few months, when air quality and venting conditions allow for proper burning, you'll see crews working with the Ministry of Forest Lands, Natural Resource Operations and Rural Development, as well as with the Okanagan Indian Band members who will be burning a lot of those woody debris piles to further reduce the wildfire hazard. Many of these unburned piles are in the southern end of the treatment area near the Sugarloaf Forest Service Road. So don't be alarmed if you see smoke in that area. And if you do have questions, again, please don't be afraid to reach out to us and we'll be able to pass on any information if you're worried about what's going on out there.
Okay, and this was the last question that we had from residents, and it seems to, again, I think be one that's on lots of people's mind. We did talk about it a little bit, but can you just give us a reminder about what residents can do if they see hazard trees either on their property or on somebody else's or a street right of way?
Yeah, so danger trees are very topical. And so what we're telling the private property owners is that you can reach out to us to contact us if you see those danger trees adjacent to your private property, if there is a public safety concern. So if those trees adjacent to your property are a concern to public safety, where they could fall on your property or structures, put people at risk because of a travel corridor through the area, please contact us, and we will establish the coordination effort required to address that. And we've got some resources available to us right now, and depending on what the circumstances are, we can find a network of different support mechanisms to help provide assistance.
Okay. And then just a follow up to that is we had heard that there were some people that were taking woody debris and putting it into the lake. Could you just comment on that?
Yes, we have heard that. And I would like to remind folks, please do not throw that woody debris into the lake, especially those large chunks of wood that have been bucked up from trees, because they will create a boating hazard. And in stormy weather conditions, they could also put your neighbor's dock at risk. So please don't do that. And please dispose of it through whatever avenues are made available. So we just remind folks that putting that woody debris into the lake, into Okanagan Lake, is not a good option at this point in time.
Great. And I think, Steve, did you want to comment too that we are working on a program specifically for wood debris disposal?
Yes. So hearing this and listening to what people have been telling us over the past number of weeks, we've been working very hard at this end to try and put together a program with the Northwest Side Fire Department and looking at some of the best options to address that wood waste. So we should have some more details, announceable details coming shortly. And we are hearing, some of the concerns with residents where they have some of this wood in isolated locations that are really hard to get to. So we are hearing these concerns, and we're trying to come up with a strategy that hopefully will address some of those.
Great. Okay. That was the last of the questions that I had on my list, unless anybody had anything else that they wanted to mention. Nope, hearing none. So just a reminder that this is being live streamed now. The recording will also continue to stay up on our YouTube channel in perpetuity. So if you want to go back and you can listen to it again, or let your neighbors know if there's information that you think might be useful to them. This will be the last one that we do, though. We have seen now that people are back in their homes, and contact has been made directly with most of the people that have lost properties, that we're having better communications directly with those people and getting more specific information to them as they need it. But please remember that you can sign on for our e-newsletter, and we'll be sending that out periodically as new information becomes available. So that means if you just go to rdco.com/recovery, you'll find all the information there, and also the space that you can sign up for an e-newsletter. And again, you can still continue to call our recovery office, which is 250-469-6111, and you'll be able to get information directly about your specific needs there as well. So that's it for us today. Good luck on your continued recovery, and we will look forward to sending you out information very shortly about the Kalini Beach water system as well. So thanks.